It isn't often that one gets an honor in this manner, a classmate, a journalistic colleague, but really more importantly, a friend, to induct into an honor like this. Now, there's a very good chance that we could have been here tonight inducting Kevin Riggs as a longtime newspaper reporter in the state of California. Kevin loved writing, and in high school was writing a column for the Oxnard newspaper about what was going on at his high school. And he came to Cal Poly as an editorial concentration student. And then one day, it's actually pretty close to the day that I walked into KCPR, and somebody asked him a question, and he said, well, and somebody said, that guy needs to be on radio. And 40 years of broadcasting later, we are here to honor my friend. He worked in radio for a bit, started working in television at that station that we all share, Rick, Kevin, and I. We're like the three amigos of KCOY and have kept in touch for 40 years. And he was working in Santa Barbara at our Santa Barbara bureau, him and Alan Halfhill, who was here someplace, and other photographers. And it was a perfect time for Kevin because Ronald Reagan was the president, and Ronald Reagan had a house in Santa Barbara, and the Western White House was in Santa Barbara. And Kevin got a taste of what some people today call the swamp. Washington, D.C. reporting. 15 years I've been doing this. He got it a long time ago. All the networks, everybody there, daily briefing, here's what the president's going to do. And it kind of triggered something in him about covering politics. He liked the drama, he liked the strategy, he liked what this person was trying to do, what that person was trying to do. And so he has become one of this state's best political reporters. And for a long time. And still to this day, even though he's gone to the dark side, he still does the Riggs Report. Conan Nolan, another political reporter in the state of California, KNBC, Los Angeles Television, texting Kevin yesterday, should I talk to assembly person da-da-da-da or assembly? This guy is a political reporter that this state has benefited from for all these years. Throughout the years, we get separated. He stayed in California. I've been in, I think, 5 different states since the time we left Cal Poly. But in addition to covering politics, the station was smart enough to send him on big stories. You saw in the video of his coverage of Oklahoma City. Very sad story. I was there as well, working for a station in Seattle. I was so happy to see my friend in Oklahoma City, covering a terrible story, but it was like tonight. It was a reunion. It was like, hey, bud, how you doing? Nice to see you. And we've been able to do that throughout the years, coming together at strange places. Throughout the years, we've talked about reporting. We've talked about storytelling. Most importantly, we've talked about journalism. And for the last nearly decade, we've been working together with the journalism department here to try and strengthen not only the journalism department, but KCPR, the television folks as well. I'm going to tell one more story. I told everybody Eldridge is up here. I'm like, Eldridge, come on, that's enough, let's go. But I'm going to tell one more story. Rick DeBarul worked at KCOY. I got his job after he did. And then Kevin worked at KCOY after I did. And we've all been friends for 40 years. And in 1979, Kevin and I decided to go see DeBarul in Phoenix. And we got in my Toyota Celica with no air conditioning during a gas shortage. His dad put 5 gallons of gas outside in Carpinteria. My dad put 5 gallons of gas outside in Fullerton, California. We left after I finished the 11 o'clock news at 11:30 at night, stopped in Carpinteria at 2 or 3 in the morning, Fullerton at 4 or 5 in the morning, drove across the desert to see Rick DeBrule. Students, that's what this is about. This is family, this is friends, these are bonds that you will have for the rest of your life. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kevin Riggs to the Mustang News Hall of Fame.
Well, David, thank you for that very kind and generous introduction. As for that video, let this be a lesson to all of you that if you keep old video clips around, you eventually get what's coming to you. No, it is a tremendous honor to be here tonight, to be honored in this fashion. I have often felt that there's nothing quite as rewarding and as satisfying in life as to be recognized by your peers in this way. And that's especially true, I think, given the large crop of talented journalists that have come out of Cal Poly over the years. There are lots of deserving future Hall of Fame inductees out there. It's also especially rewarding for me to be part of a Hall of Fame induction class that includes my friend, my mentor, my professor, Ed Zucchelli. You all saw the video earlier about Ed Zucchelli. Zook, as we called him. He was a big man with a big laugh and a big heart, and certainly those of us who were lucky enough to be his students know how helpful he was in guiding our path. As for my own path, and David alluded to this, I arrived on campus, thought I was going to be a print guy, wandered into KCPR, struck up this conversation with Marv Miller, Marvelous Marv, who was the news director at the time. Some of you remember Marv. And after a couple of minutes, Marv turned to some friends and he said, "Check out this guy's pipes. Hey, can you read a newscast for us?" Okay, sure. So I did, and I guess the die was cast at that point. It was going to be broadcasting from that point forward. What I learned early on about working at KCPR was that it was, in fact, a professional radio station. Yes, it was run by students. Yes, it was staffed by students. Yes, occasionally it was screwed up by students. But it was all part of the learning process. We had a lot of fun along the way, going to an all-news format for Newsday, doing wall-to-wall coverage for Poly Royal. In my case, working with Kevin Falls to produce a regular satire and comedy segment called Studio 229. Yes, named after the most famous men's room on campus, that same place where Weird Al would later record his first parody hit. As for Kevin Falls, he went on to become an Emmy-winning writer and producer in Hollywood. I knew he would never amount to much. But the thing that I will always treasure the most about KCPR, we had a lot of fun along the way, but you know what? It was a genuine journalism laboratory. And in that laboratory, I learned a lot of the fundamentals of broadcast journalism that then went on to help me in my career over the course of the next 30 years. I will always remember that. I will always treasure KCPR because of that. Now, if I were still in broadcasting, if I were still on the air doing a live shot right now, just about at this point, I'd have a producer in my ear squawking, "Wrap it, wrap it." So I'm going to wrap it and simply say, thank you to Cal Poly, thank you to KCPR, thank you to my lovely wife, Karen, for putting off with a crazy journalism career and all those crazy hours for such a long time. And finally, thanks to all of you for supporting Cal Poly journalism.